I've been drinking a lot of coffee. So much coffee. I started making my own coffee at home so I wouldn't go into debt at Starbucks amount of coffee. And it got me thinking, what are the cozy coffee games like? I've played one coffee-themed game, Coffee Talk, and it's pretty incredible. Are there other coffee-themed cozy games? Are they worth buying? Could this be a whole new category of cozy that is yet to really be tapped into? I went searching on Steam to see what coffee genre video games were like. I like coffee, I like cozy, I must like cozy coffee. I found legit coffee games because some of these were a little questionable, and got to playing to try to figure out which of these coffee games you've never heard of are worth your time. First up, Coffee Talk 2. Ignore the fact that this is a game you've definitely heard of, especially since I just mentioned it 30 seconds ago, and in numerous other videos, but maybe you haven't heard of the second game in the series. Let me start with summarizing my experience with the first game in the series because it's important for my final review of the second game. I went into Coffee Talk pretty blind. I knew it was a visual novel game with some kind of coffee theme, but I was pleasantly surprised when there was a coffee making puzzle aspect included. I don't know why I wasn't expecting coffee making, I just assumed it was all going to be narration and dialogue options that decided how the game progressed. But instead, the game progresses on how accurately you figure out which drink each character wants and correctly serving that coffee drink to each character. I went into this game expecting cute, cozy stories of characters' lives, which you do get, but I wasn't expecting the huge twist ending. I don't want to spoil it, but the final interaction of the game basically tells you to go back and play the game again to get the secret ending, and it gives you some lore about a character that you don't really get a lot of information about when you play the first time around. I was pleasantly surprised. So, going into Coffee Talk 2, I had expectations. It delivered on the cozy atmosphere, character building, finding out more about the characters' lives. This was all great. But the whole time, I was waiting on the edge of my seat for some kind of crazy reveal similar to the first game, and I didn't get that. We were given new coffee drinks to make, which was nice, so the mechanic of trying to give everyone the proper drink and coming up with recipes for new drinks, it was expanded on a bit. And while each character's arc was well done and cute, it just didn't live up to my expectations in the end. I wanted some crazy twist, and while there were some mysteries that required you to go back and play the game multiple times to experience the whole story, it wasn't anything crazy. It was just a way to experience the good and bad endings for each character. The only secret was unlocking an experience with a brand new character, which was cute, but not quite what I was looking for. The creator of Coffee Talk did pass away before the release of the second game, which may have affected the storytelling since it relied on new devs to create the narrative. And while this is still a great game, and the original creator's legacy is still being continued, which is fantastic, it is still one I would recommend. But the first one was definitely a way better experience. There is a third game releasing soon-ish. It has a set release window of 2025, so soonish could be in a month or 10 months. But I will absolutely be playing it whenever it comes out. This is a cute, wholesome, chill series that is a great experience. And while I was slightly disappointed with the second installment, it was kind of my own fault. I should have went in with no expectations. But it was still phenomenal. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel like I'm coming off and making this game sound awful. It's not awful at all. It's great. You should definitely play it if visual novel games are something that you're into. The next game on the list, Coffee Please. But before I get into this game, I want to quickly thank today's sponsor, me! There's a new merch drop! My merch ideas tend to be inspired by what I'm going through in life currently and right now. If you couldn't tell by my choice of games, coffee has been a staple of my sanity. So get your coffee merch today. Members get 10% off your entire order. That code is in the community tab, which isn't called the community tab anymore. It's just kind of labeled post, so I guess in the post tab, as well as in the member section of the Discord. Okay, back to the video. Coffee Please is a coffee shop management game where you are the shop owner and server. You're ordering items, upgrading your cafe, taking customer orders, and serving them the correct drink. There's a difficulty option built into this game, which I find to be rare nowadays. You can either choose to have customers' orders written out for you, or you can play the more challenging option, which forces you to memorize the orders instead. This seemed too stressful for my first playthrough, so I didn't do it, but it is nice that it exists, because once you get the hang of this game, it does become a bit repetitive and easy. You start off with just one customer chair and one type of drink, which in this coffee game is tea. But once you play a bit and earn some money, you can spend the currency to level up both the number of seats in the cafe as well as adding a larger variety of drinks that you can serve. Oh, and also there's this adorable cat that lives in your cafe. You have to feed it and pet it to keep its happiness up. I don't really know if there's any consequences to having an upset kitty besides it just crying. But a crying cat is punishment enough. No one wants a sad kitty cat. I really like the art style of this game. It's very satisfying to look at, which is good because the gameplay does get a little boring after a bit. Coffee Please is still in early access, so this might just be a case of this game is not finished yet, and there will be more coming later. But right now, the gameplay consists of just adding more seats and adding more drinks. And the new drinks aren't more difficult to make, it's just remembering the customer's orders, especially if you choose the harder difficulty. But on the easier side of things, it's just clicking a different button at the machine and delivering it to the right person. My other gripe about the game is that it hasn't gotten an update in a while. It's still Christmas up in this place and we're halfway through February. I was giving the devs a little bit of slack. It's a small team of people and maybe the holidays took up their time. But looking at their other games, they tend to throw something in early access, update it once or twice, and then completely abandon it for another game. My hopes for Coffee Please getting more updates with more gameplay, they're pretty squashed now. And for $12, I was hoping that there would be more to this game in the future, but it seems to probably not be the case. I'd hold off on purchasing this game for now, but if the devs ever get the urge to keep adding more, the game might be worth it in the future. I guess we can just consider it abandonware until this thing gets out of Christmas mode. However, the gameplay it does have now is fun, just don't expect more than what you see. Maybe wait for a sale, if it ever goes on sale. Next up, Coffee Caravan. I went into this game pretty blind as well. After my experience with Coffee Please, I probably should do a little bit more work on the back-end research side of things, but here we are. All I knew about Coffee Caravan is that you have a caravan in which you make coffee, and that was good enough for me. Turns out this game is very similar to Play-Doh, so not at all cozy, but definitely an extremely entertaining game. Your objective is to set up your caravan in an efficient way so you can successfully serve customers without failing even one. But instead of making food or whatever you pick for your plate-up restaurant at that playthrough, you're serving coffee drinks. There are a variety of recipes you can serve. Some of them are pretty intense and require a ton of steps, but you're able to upgrade your caravan and upgrade your appliances to give you the best possible chance to not miss a customer. Your objective is to follow the roadmap to the top to complete Expert Day and then get thrown onto another roadmap to complete that one, but with better equipment. Each time you go through a roadmap, you get better equipment, go to the store, get more drinks. It's fun. It's a great way to progress through a game. I had a lot of fun with Coffee Caravan. The game is refreshingly challenging, but you're also serving coffee, so it has these cozy vibes. In my opinion, this is the closest example to what it's like to work in an actual coffee shop. It's really not a relaxing experience. You're usually running around like a crazy person, and then also having customers yell at you. So where's customers verbally abusing you in sim games? I feel like not enough have that feature. There are Twitch integrations too, so your chat can show up as customers, mess with you, make you walk really slowly, or like make it snow, which I thought was going to be nice and pretty, but it ended up still messing with me anyway. I highly recommend this game. It's a new favorite for sure. I haven't gotten too far in the game, I had to stop to make this video, but it's a great time. I do wish it was multiplayer. Having a friend help would have been nice. And finally, the last game on my list, Fast Food Simulator. Okay, this one's kind of a joke, but there is coffee. I've just been obsessed with this game for a while now. There aren't too many sim games that allow for multiplayer. Playing with your friends makes these tedious games way more fun. I always have a ball with Fast Food Simulator. I recommend it as a really fun party game. You will hate your friends after it though. Alright, those are the coffee games that you have now heard of. I'm all about the cozy, and coffee makes everything 100 times cozier. I hope we get more coffee games in the future. Don't forget to grab your coffee merch while you're playing your coffee games. I wonder how many times I said coffee in this one video. Have you tried any of these games? Any you want to shout out in the comments? Let me know down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!